Hello everyone, I'm Geek Freak and welcome to the video. Let's talk about the Soul Society. When we first hear about the Soul Society, we are told by Rukia that the Soul Society is a better place and you'll never go hungry. Now, when you think of an afterlife, you would probably think, oh yeah, nobody goes hungry and it'll be a much better place than Earth. And not only that, you'd be able to see your loved ones again. It would be the ultimate destination for good people. And you know that little boy that was stuck in the body of a parakeet, Yoriichi Sabata? Ichigo promised Yoriichi that he would be reunited with his mother again, because she also died. Now, when you look at somebody like Rukia, you're probably thinking, oh yeah, she's a protector. She fights Olos to protect the world of the living and protect souls. And as the series go on, we even realize that souls who has been turned into Olos doesn't get destroyed, but they get cleansed and get sent to the Soul Society. And you know what? That sounds really good. When you see it from that point of view, in the beginning of the series, that there's an afterlife, you'll be able to see parents and friends again, you won't go hungry, it sounds like heaven. But as the story goes on in the series, and we come to learn more about the Soul Society and who's in it, and who looks after it, and what goes on in the Soul Society, at first glance, when we get to know more about the Soul Society, you think, oh, this place isn't so bad. I mean, sure, not everything's perfect. But then, thinking back to all the times that I noticed about the Soul Society, well, it's not rainbows and flowers, because at the beginning of the series, we are given a brief summary by Rukia and a few other people saying that, oh, the Soul Society is great, you won't go hungry. And looking at Rukia, you're thinking, oh yeah, she's a protector. She defeats Olos in order to protect the spirits and the living. But I think the first problem that we've overlooked when it came to the Soul Society is Kon. Now, when we're introduced to Kon, he was supposed to be a soul candy that would inhabit the body of the Soul Reaper that was living in the world of the living. But later we find out that Kon was actually a mod soul. Mod souls were created to combat Olos. They were originally to be put into dead bodies in the world of the living to combat Olos. And originally, Kon wasn't the only one of his kind, but there was like hundreds of them, maybe even thousands. But on the day of his birth, orders were brought down to say that all mod souls must be destroyed, because it was too unethical to use dead bodies of those who already departed. And Kon, in his pill form, was just waiting there to die. But he got mixed up in the wrong shipping, and he ended up in the world of the living at Urahara's shop. So yeah, on the day of his birth, he heard that he had to be destroyed alongside his brothers and sisters. But here's the thing, even though Kon was reckless when we first saw him, Kon really wasn't a bad person. And when you see it from Kon's point of view, you genuinely felt sorry for him. So that's red flag number one. The Soul Society creating a sentient being and destroying them later on. And listen, I could understand if they were like dangerous like a hollow or something, but from what we've seen from Kon, they don't seem to be bad sentient beings, because again of Kon. Hell, even Urahara said he was going to destroy Kon, until Rukia took back Kon's pill. So yeah, even Urahara said that Kon must be destroyed. I mean, yeah, sure, Rukia said that Kon must be destroyed, but later on she changed her mind. So that's number one. Let's move on to number two. Red flag number two is Renji and Byakuya. Now, Rukia knew that somebody would come looking for her someday, and that's why she left Ichigo, so other Soul Reapers wouldn't find him. And while Rukia was running away, Renji and Byakuya found her. Now, there's a few things I want to talk about. In the beginning of the series, you're probably thinking that the Shinigami is there to fight Hollows and protect humans and help the souls of the deceased cross over to the Soul Society. But when we meet Renji and Byakuya, and Renji confronts Rukia, he tells Rukia that he has the expressions of a human, which is frowned upon. And Renji also says that they'll kill the person who took Rukia's powers. And then later, they actually attack Uryu. And then, later on, they tell Ichigo that they're going to take Rukia back and she's going to be punished. And then, they leave Ichigo to die. So, that's 3 red flags. 1, they have pride in themselves. 2, they attack Ichigo and Uryu and leave them to die. And 3, they said they was going to execute Rukia. Now, even though we've seen this in Rukia, Rukia has somewhat changed thanks to Ichigo, because in the beginning she was prideful of herself. But as the series went on, she showed more emotion, she was happy, she was laughing, and she'd go along with Ichigo, etc, etc. And apparently, those mannerisms are looked down by other Shinigami, apparently. I mean, come on, you would have thought somebody who defeated Hollows and supposedly protects humans and the souls from the world of the living. But look at them, they actually look down on Ichigo. They leave him for dead, him and Uryu, and now Renji is saying that they're going to execute Rukia. I mean, seriously, when you think of Guardians of the Afterlife, you would think of somebody who is more understanding and tries to explain stuff and stuff like that. But when we first meet Renji, he's full of himself, he's arrogant, and looks down on Ichigo and Uryu. Now, even though this deserves 3 red flags, I'm just going to give it 1, as one big massive introduction to other Soul Reapers. Now, I'm going to go straight to where Ichigo, Horihime, Chad, and Uryu, and Yoruichi reaches the Soul Society. Now, when you think of an Evan, you're thinking that, oh, everybody's equal. Nobody's better than anybody else. But when we see the Soul Society, we do learn that there is a class system, and each place within the Soul Society is from worst to bad, and number 1 in the Soul Society is the best place to live, and number 80 is the worst place to live in the Soul Society. So yes, apparently there are 80 districts within the Soul Society for souls to go and live in, and whatever number the soul has been given, that's where they live from now on. And the Soul Society is very dense and overcrowded, especially in the 80th district. The 80th district is where it's mostly dense and packed, where crime is always constant, and people are wearing rags, and there are people who are starving apparently. I mean, yes, Rukia did say that when you're in the Soul Society, you'll never go hungry. And to be honest, I think this was like an half-lie, half-true sort of thing, because if you do have a high spiritual pressure, you will go hungry. But if your spiritual pressure is weak, you won't go hungry. Oh yeah, the Soul Society is so much better, Rukia, isn't it? Overpopulated, the half-truth of, oh, you'll never go hungry unless you've got high spirit pressure. There's a lot of crime in the 80th district. So wait a minute, hold on. When you do bad things when you're alive, you get sent to hell. But when you're in the Soul Society and you commit crimes, nothing happens to you. I mean, really? So hold on, what if somebody actually, committed murder within the Soul Society? I mean, would they get sent to hell or what? In fact, there are criminals within the Soul Society. And also, the people who die, who think, oh, I'm going to see my mom and dad again, or I'm going to see my brother, or my loved one, or whatever, in this place when I pass through these gates. But we are told that it's rare that family members will meet up with each other within the Soul Society, because the Soul Society is so huge that it is rare to find family members when you die, unless you die together. Like that kid, Yoichi Shibata, that was in the body of a bird. Even though Ichigo said that he will see his mother again in the afterlife, the kid never actually found his mother. And you know what, while I'm at it, I might as well just come out and say it, that the Soul Society doesn't care about the souls who comes into the Soul Society. There is so many things wrong within the Soul Society. It's later on shown that the Shinigami doesn't care about the souls that resides in the Soul Society. In the 1000-year Blood War arc, it was stated by Mayuri that he killed over 28,000 souls within the Rukon district, so it would balance out things within the Soul Society, because the Quincy's killed loads and loads of hollows in Mundo. I'm like, wow. And not only that, not only is there crime and stealing and so on, not only do the Soul Reapers don't care or what happens to the souls in the Rukon district or whatever, not only do they secretly experiment on them when no one's looking, but do you remember when Uryu faced off against Mayuri? Mayuri said that he was the one who let Hollows kill Uryu's grandfather, and then the Soul Reapers took back Uryu's grandfather back to the Soul Society and experimented on him, and he doesn't get reprimanded for what he did. And not only that, they actually kill their fellow Soul Reapers as well, or looks down on other squads. Mayuri even kills his own group of Soul Reapers that was from his squad, and in the manga, one of them even had dreams of being a Soul Reaper, and he gets killed off by his own captain, which was Mayuri. And look at Squad 11 and Squad 4. Squad 11 hates Squad 4 because of how weak they are. Hell, they didn't even care that Hinotaro was being held hostage against the people who they were trying to hunt down, which was Ichigo and Konju. Hell, for all we know, they might have actually killed him. Squad 11, I mean. And the Soul Reapers have blind loyalty and have no room for people explaining themselves. Like, remember when Ichigo and Byakuya was fighting? Well, you know Kione and Sentaro? They got taken out by Siphon, and she was even planning on killing them. Hell, she was even gonna go and kill Yoruichi. And then she breaks down and asks, why didn't you take me with you? And then later on, Siphon is always daydreaming about Yoruichi, and Siphon loves Yoruichi. But I'll get back to this in a second, because this is gonna fall under hypocrisy. And there was the out-captain, Captain Yamamoto, didn't even want to talk to Shisui or Ukitake, and just saw them as traitors. And even though Shisui and Ukitake wanted to talk to Captain Yamamoto, Captain Yamamoto says there's nothing to talk about, release your Zanpakuto and let's fight. And Captain Yamamoto has known these two for years, I mean like years and years and years. Hell, they were the first captains to join the Gotei 13. He even said that he saw those two as his sons. But instead of like talking this out and asking them why or anything like that, he just says, enough talk, release your Zanpakuto. Hell, he even marvels at their dual Zanpakuto. And then they started fighting. Now, let me get back to the hypocrisy. You see, it's the job of the Gotei 13 to uphold the rules of the Soul Society, no matter what it is. Now, in the beginning, we saw this with Siphon, Byakuya, Captain Yamamoto, etc, etc. Even Renji at one point. But at the end of the Soul Society arc, Captain Ukitake and Shutsui was pardoned for their treachery, and Siphon is even more closer to Yoruichi now, and it looks like Kenpachi isn't going to get any punishment for helping out Ichigo and his friends, and Captain Isugaya was against the execution of Rukia Kuchiki. Now maybe this was because there was a mystery to this, because it had something to do with Gin. Maybe that was the only reason they did it, and not exactly wanted to stop the execution of Rukia Kuchiki. Now, think about this for a second. Let's just say, for example, that Siphon was ordered to kill Yoruichi for some reason. I mean, would she kill Yoruichi without question because it's her duty? Or, let's just say, for example, that Central 46 actually did order the execution of Rukia Kuchiki, and not Aizen, that was doing it from the shadows. Now, obviously, Shinsui and Ukitake would obviously be against this. And there was also Renji. I mean, let's just say, for example, that everything played out exactly like it was in the Soul Society arc, but Aizen wasn't the one pulling the strings from the shadows. It was actually Central 46 who actually ordered the execution of Rukia. I mean, how do you think everything would play out? I mean, what would Captain Itugaya's stance be on this? I think the majority of the captains and lieutenants would be on board with the execution of Rukia, besides from a few captains and a few lieutenants. But at the end of the fight with Ichigo and Byakuya, Byakuya understood that Ichigo was fighting the rules of the Soul Society and not Byakuya himself. And that is something that Byakuya never did. Actually, can we ever a what if scenario with this story? Like, what if there was nobody pulling the strings of Central 46? Like, there was no Aizen, no Gin, no Tozen, and Ichigo and his friends was trying to fight the rules of the Soul Society? Because that would be exciting to listen to. Anyways, I've gone on too long with this. So yeah, the Soul Reapers do follow orders blindly, even if it's right or wrong, because there was a few times in the series of Bleach where the Soul Reapers have done a lot of bad things because they were ordered to without question. You know, blind loyalty. Do you guys know Sanji Komamaru? This guy is basically a loyal dog. Sanji Komamaru was saved by Captain Yamamoto, and Sanji owes him for it. And he was also for the execution of Rukia, not because it was right or wrong, it was because it was the law. There's a video made by DBZ Armoran, and he talks about Sanji Komamaru, and I highly recommend you guys go and check that out because it's really good. Well, basically, Tozen wanted to get revenge on the Soul Society, but Sanji wanted to stop him, and Sanji saw Tozen as his friend for a very long time. Like I said, you're going to have to go and watch DBZ Armoran's video on Sanji, because he says it better than I could. And even though Sanji and Isagi swore to bring back Tozen and bring him to his senses, even though Tozen made it perfectly clear that he's the enemy of the Soul Society because of what happened to his friend, Sanji and Isagi chose the loyalty of the Soul Society, then Tozen. And when they did defeat Tozen, they was hoping to bring him back, but Tozen exploded in the fake Kurakara arc. And in the novels, it turns out that Aizen, who was the one who killed Tozen. But in the novels, after the war with the Quincy's, Isagi went to Aizen before he was sealed away, said, "What did you do to Tozen? What did you say to make him betray the Soul Society? Did you brainwash him? What did you do to make him betray the Soul Society?" And Aizen says, "Oh, Tozen was on my side from the very beginning. He sided with me with his own free will. And I killed Tozen because it was a mercy, because Tozen said that he didn't want to be siding with the people who killed his friend." Now, from what I can see from this, I don't think Sanji and Hisagi wanted to believe that Tozen would follow Aizen willingly. I think they wanted to believe that it was all Aizen's fault. Like, they wanted to believe that Aizen manipulated him into coming over to his side. Now the thing is, in the novels, the guy who killed Tozen's friend was eventually killed. But the thing is, I don't know what happened in the novels. I'm not sure who killed him, but it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Why didn't Sanji and Hisagi look into Tozen's past and find out what exactly happened to him? Like, why exactly did he join Aizen? I mean, are you telling me that they believed that Aizen was the one who was pulling Tozen's strings the whole time, and they didn't think who exactly was the one who killed Tozen's friend. I mean, let's just say for example that they did look into Tozen's past, and Sanji and Isage found out the reason why Tozen left with Aizen and did find the guy who killed Tozen's friend. I mean, would you guys think they would just say, oh, I'll just kill this guy because he's the one who made Tozen follow Aizen, or hang their heads down and just walk away? Because the guy who killed Tozen's friend was a noble, and the nobles are one of the people and things the Soul Reapers swore to guard and protect. So let's just say for example that Sanji did find out about the guy who killed Tozen's friend, and he found out that this noble was the reason why Tozen left. I mean, what do you think he would do? Well, to be honest, my best guess is that he would hang his head and just carry on with his job, because there is nothing that Sanji or Hisagi can do. But in the end, this noble who killed Tozen's friend was evil and he was trying to take over the world, you know, that sort of stuff. And so the Soul Society decided to get rid of him once and for all. I mean, hey, that was lucky. I mean, come on, it makes you think, doesn't it? And if you guys think about it, half of the captains are a bunch of hypocrites. They say, oh, we have to protect the Soul Society and the Soul King and so on and so on. Whatever the Soul Society says, we have to obey the laws of the Soul Society. Look at Shinsui, look at Ukitake, look at Soifone, look at Ginichimaru, look at Tozen, look at Renji. What I'm trying to get at is, there are captains and lieutenants that was against the execution of Rukia. And look at Soifone. Let's just say for example that the Soul Society says, okay, we have to kill Yororichi. I mean, do you guys really think that Soifone would actually do that? And obviously Renji was against the Soul Society killing Rukia. I mean, look at Kenpachi. I mean, yeah, sure, he doesn't care what happens to Rukia, but if it gives Kenpachi a good fight, then he'll gladly go against the Soul Society. Hell, even Central 46 was scared of Kenpachi, and they even said, stop training Kenpachi. And look at Gin, he wasn't even on the side of the Soul Society, neither was he on the side of Aizen. He did all this just for the sake of Rangiku. And Tozen even hates the Soul Society because they didn't bring justice to the person who killed Tozen's friend. It's all, don't ask questions, just blindly believe what the Soul Society has been saying, and do the orders that you were assigned to do. It's all just blind loyalty unless it affects them personally. Again, with Tozen, Gin, Renji, Ukitake, Shinsui, etc, etc. And this what brings me up to the next thing. When it comes to blind duty, that in itself is dangerous. I mean, sure, you gotta follow orders when it comes to maintaining peace and doing what needs to be done, you know, etc, etc. But blind loyalty will also get you into trouble. And what do I mean by this? Well, there's a character in the Fullbringer called Koga Ginjo. Now, at the end of the series, this guy supposedly wanted to help Ichigo, and one thing led to another, and in the Fullbring arc, it turned out that Ginjo was the bad guy all along, and as it turns out, it's Ginjo that's been killing Soul Reapers. And as it turns out, again, he was the first substitute Soul Reaper, and again, he has been killing Soul Reapers. And he is the reason as to why it was forbidden for Soul Reapers to give their powers to humans to fight Hollows. Yep, turns out that Kugo was the reason why that was forbidden, because he turned against the Soul Society. And at that time, the reason why Ginjo was against the Soul Society because they were supposedly spying on him, and that was the reason why he killed Soul Reapers and went against the Soul Society, and that's when they turned him into a criminal. And Ginjo was going around killing Soul Reapers just so it would hurt the Soul Society, and the Fullbringers that was with Ginjo wanted more power for their Fullbring abilities. And then later on, Ichigo killed Kugo, Ginjo, and then later on, Ichigo asked if he could take Ginjo's body back to the world of the living so he can bury it. And Soifone rejected this because Ginjo was a murderer and he killed many Soul Reapers. And then, sometime later, we find out that Ginjo and a few Fullbringers was actually in the Soul Society and they helped Ichigo out. Now, if these guys were really bad guys like Ginjo and the other two, I forget what their names was, but there was just two other Fullbringers that was killed by Byakuya Kuchiki and Kenpachi. Anyways, those two died and Ichigo killed Ginjo. Now, you would have thought him killing people would have him being sent to hell, including the other two. I mean, it was made clear that Ginjo actually killed Soul Reapers, and I'm not sure who else he killed, but if killing people sends you to hell, then if he's in the Soul Society with the other two, then why didn't he get sent to hell? And also, he's helping Ichigo. I mean, yeah, we see him once in the 1,000-Year Blood War, and it kind of makes you think, saying, hold on, why the hell are they helping Ichigo? It didn't make any sense to me. And again, why was he in the Soul Society? I mean, technically Ginjo was still human, so really he should have gone to hell. But we get all of our answers in the novel, Bleach, Can't Fear Your Own World. Well, as it turned out, now we all thought that Ginjo just wanted more power and he was just using that, oh, they're spying on you, as an excuse. We all thought that he was just the stereotypical bad guy that just wanted more power. And the Soul Society just saw Ginjo and the Fullbrings as the bad guys because they wanted more power. But as it turned out, Ginjo wasn't the bad guy. I've watched a few videos on Ginjo, on what happens to him in the novels, from a few YouTubers like Tekking and a few others I can't remember. But no offense to those YouTubers, but Tekking was the one who got me thinking about this idea. But as it turned out, both Ginjo and his friends and Ukitake and the Soul Society, yeah, these two groups was actually being pinned against each other by one of the nobles from the Four Houses. I think it was the Four Houses, I don't know, I haven't read the novels, but it was actually this guy who pinned Ginjo and the Soul Society against each other, Tokinada. And this guy also plays a part with Tozen as well, but that's another video entirely. Anyways, the reason why he pinned Ginjo and the Soul Society together was because Tokinada wanted a piece of the Soul King that was inside of him. And I'm telling you guys, this guy, Tokinada, is evil. Anyways, he tricked Ukitake into thinking that Ginjo was killing people or Shinigami or something. He told Ukitake that he was killing soldiers or Shinigami or whatever. But in fact, it was actually Shinigami who was going to Ginjo and his friends from the past. And the Shinigami was actually killing the Fullbrings. Not the Fullbrings that we saw in the Fullbring arc, but this was like, in the far past. And Ginjo thought that the Soul Society had turned on him, and Ginjo started killing Soul Reapers, either who came after him or any Soul Reaper he can find, to get revenge on them for what they did to his friends, and to take them out before he took out Ginjo and his Fullbring friends that he has now. So yeah, Ukitake and Ginjo thought that the other was enemies, and the Soul Society saw Ginjo as an enemy too, just for the sake of getting power. And guess what? Ichigo never found this out. He just saw Ginjo as a bad person that has been killing Shinigami or Soul Reapers, just for the sake of getting some power. But saying that, even after when Ichigo killed Ginjo, Ichigo requested that he could take Ginjo's body back to the world of the living so he can bury it. And all the captains was surprised by this request. And Soifone even said, how can you say this? He killed loads and loads of Soul Reapers. So yeah, even the captains think Ginjo was after power and he just wanted to kill Soul Reapers. But later, in the manga, we saw Ginjo in the Soul Society. And you would have thought that he would have gone to hell for all the horrible things they did to Ichigo and other Soul Reapers. But in the novels, again, it turns out that the Soul Society and Ginjo was being played by Tokinada. And Shinsui, the new leader of the Soul Society, well, the 13 Gotei, finds Ginjo and starts talking, saying, oh, if you had a problem with Ukitake spying on you, then why don't you just talk to him? And Ginjo says, oh, yeah, right, talk to Ukitake, after when he killed my friends. So one thing leads to another, and they find out that they've both been played. Actually, you guys are going to have to fact check me on this, because this is what I'm assuming that happened. Like I said, I've only heard YouTubers say what happened. And then later, after Ginjo, that he and the Soul Society was played against each other, and he finds out that Ukitake was trying to give Ginjo the benefit of the doubt and being called a criminal by the Soul Society. Even though Ginjo hates the Soul Society for calling him a criminal and killing his friends, he wanted to go and see Ukitake's grave and give him his respects. But the sad part is, Ukitake didn't find any of this out. Ukitake never found out that they were being played, and that is the sad realization. And also, Ichigo doesn't know anything about this, so how do you guys think Ichigo will feel after when he finds all this out? All this was just a big massive misunderstanding, and the one person who died thinking that Ginjo and the Fullbrings were enemies was Ukitake. I mean, how do you guys think Ichigo's gonna feel about this? That he killed somebody that wasn't even the bad guy? Again, I know Ginjo and the Fullbrings did mess with Ichigo, but it was just one big massive misunderstanding, and it was one of the nobles that was pulling the strings. And yes, I know everybody was tricked by that noble, but what the hell were they doing when that noble killed Tozen's friend? And also, speaking of which, let's talk about the beginning of where everything started, and that was with the Soul King. Now originally, the Soul King was the ruler of the world about 1 million years ago, and he killed so many Hollows just to protect humans, but this started to destabilize the world. So 5 other beings, which are part of the 5 houses, the Kuchikis, the Shibas, etc, etc, they put the Soul King in a humiliating state that was on the verge of life and death. Well, between life and death. And after sealing him away, a few of the noble houses started taking apart the Soul King, because every part of his being had so much power in it. The left arm, the right arm, an art, and somehow parts of the Soul King got into the Fullbrings like Ginjo and other Fullbrings. Hell, I even hear that Rangiku has the nail of the Soul King. Don't ask me how they got into those, because that is one mystery I think we need answering as well. So yeah, they basically took the Soul King apart. Again, the left arm, the right arm, the heart, its organs, its heart. And again, he was neither dead or alive. And it is said that Yhwach is the son of the Soul King. So you could look at Yhwach killing the Soul King was an act of mercy. Now, I'm not sure if it was all the houses that took apart the Soul King or if it was just like one or two of them in the beginning, but one of the noble houses, the Sononashiro clan, was one of the noble houses that was experimenting and using parts from the Soul King. I can't remember what they were doing with them, but I think they wanted to make like super Shinigami or use them for their children or whatever. But this is the house where Tokinada came from, and you guys obviously know what happened with Ginjo and Tozen, all thanks to this guy. So yeah, there's that. Now let's talk about the start of the Gotei 13. In the beginning, there was no Gotei 13. There was Wako Mundo, there was the Soul Society, aka the Afterlife, the Human World, and Hell. Now, in the beginning of the Soul Society, there was nothing but murders and people fighting. And in the Soul Society, it was usually the strong that won. You had Yamamoto that was there in the beginning, and he gathered murderers and killers and all that sort of stuff. And I do believe that Hunahana was also with Yamamoto and his group. Again, they were killing people and they were murdering people, etc, etc. And at some point, Hunahana met Kenpachi Saraki as a boy. And as the years went on, Yamamoto decided to make the Gotei 13, or a school. I'm not really sure how it all began, but after so many years, Yamamoto decided to make a school and try to maintain peace within the Soul Society, and he wanted to create more captains and more lieutenants and, etc, etc, so he can maintain peace within the Soul Society and keep the world in balance. So yeah, back then, they were all murderers. The Soul Society wasn't a nice place. I mean, yeah, it was better than it was, but it still needs to work out a few kinks. I mean, just look at what the Soul Society looks like. Everyone's in kimonos, everyone's in shacks. Everything looks like it's in ancient Japan or something. So imagine if you're in the 21st century and you've been driving cars and you've had like watches and computers and so on, and then you die and then you go to the Soul Society and they don't have TVs or cars or computer games or any electronical stuff, and everybody lives in shacks and everybody's attire is something that you would see in ancient Japan. Everything in the Soul Society is way out of date. But all that changed when Kisuke started bringing in phones, the internet, TVs, etc, etc. This was shown in the new Hell chapter when Rukia and Ichigo were talking to each other. So at the very least, things are changing. But is there still crime and poverty in the Rukon district? Who knows? Now, I want to bring in the elephant in the room. Now, do you guys remember in the 1000-Year Blood War arc in the manga? Well, do you remember when the Soul King was killed and it was said that he was the one who was keeping everything in balance? And then when the manga ended, we didn't know what happened later because Kubo was told to end the manga in 5 chapters. Well, apparently in the novels, it was said that they wanted Ichigo to be the new Soul King. So apparently they wanted Ichigo to be just like the Soul King. They wanted him to be exactly like the Soul King. So if you guys read the manga and you've read the novels, it was very pitiful to be the Soul King. Ichigo would have been on the borderlines of life and death, in a crystal, never allowed to move, and stuck there forever. But later in the novel, they settled for Yhwach. And this is the thing that really ticks me off. Ichigo helped out the Soul Society many times, and even befriended some of them. He helped take down Sasuke Aizen. He even took down Ginjo. Ichigo has helped out the Soul Society many times, but they wanted to put Ichigo in the same position as the Soul King. Dude, I'm like, really? Listen, I understand they're trying to keep the balance of the world in order, so it wouldn't be destroyed or whatever. But their first thought was Ichigo replacing the Soul King. I mean, really? The same guy who helped them defeat Aizen and helped them with other things as well. And this is the thanks that Ichigo gets. I mean, really? And yes, we all know that they had Yhwach to replace the Soul King in the novels. But what if they didn't have Yhwach's body to replace the Soul King? And listen, I know the captains and lieutenants are trying to keep the balance in the world's right. And if they have to do all this horrible stuff just to keep the world in balance, then did they ever consider trying to figure out a way to knock the balance out and try to make it even more stable? Because I have to remind you guys that they had to kill over 28,000 people in the Rukon district because 28,000 hollows or Ronkars were killed in Wako Mundo. So they had to keep the balance by killing souls in the Soul Society. Oh yeah, the Soul Society is so good. Now listen, I don't know what other things there are in the Soul Society that are bad or isn't at all that good. But if you guys know anything else that I've missed, please let me know in the comment section below, because nothing comes to mind. And also, there's just one more thing I want to add, and that is the requirements of going to the Soul Society or Hell. Now, when you think of Hell, you're probably thinking that the worst of the worst goes to Hell. and good people go to the Soul Society. But the problem is, we don't know what the requirements for you to go to hell is. I mean, yeah, people who die and they've committed so many horrible sins in their lifetime will go to hell. Like for example, killing people. Like we saw with Shrieker. He was sent to hell, but we don't know what the full requirements are for you to be sent down to hell. I said this in another video I made, but years ago, people in real life was punished severely for just stealing things. And I thought, hold on, if people were punished severely just by stealing things back in the day, and the Soul Society has been around for a very, very long time. So would that mean if you used to steal things or do something bad that was considered bad about 2,000 years ago, and it's not all that much of a big deal like it is today? So let's just say, for example, that you stole something. Depending on the object, you would probably get a slap on the wrist to life imprisonment, depending on what it is, depending on what country you live in. So let's just say, for example, back in the day when people did steal things and you was punished severely for it, would that mean that you would be sent to hell? I mean, yeah, we were told that if you commit sins in real life, you would be sent to hell, but the thing is, we aren't told what other sins that you have to do in order for you to be sent to hell. I mean, what requirements do you need to be sent to the Soul Society or to hell? So yeah, that's something to think about. So yeah, what are the requirements for you to be sent to hell? Or let's just say, for example, that you did commit sins while you was alive, but later on in your life that you regretted those sins, and you try to fix everything and try to be a better person, but when you do die, you will be sent to hell, even if you try to fix yourself. Or let's just say, for example, that a gang killed somebody that you loved, but you went after those people and killed them to get revenge. Would you be sent to hell? Or what if you was in a war and you was killing enemy soldiers? Would you be sent to hell? Or what if you stole something? Would you be sent to hell? The thing is, I don't know. But whatever the case is, the Soul Society needs to be fixed. There are a lot of things wrong with the Soul Society, and the old ways of doing things need to be changed. So, what do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Do you agree that the Soul Society needs to change? Are there other things I've missed? Please let me know in the comments section below, and let's get a discussion going. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. And if there's a series you want me to check out and review and give my thoughts on it, or if there's a top 10 list you want me to do, or any reactions, or responses, or rants on anything geeky, just leave links and comments in the comment sections below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Don't forget to like, subscribe, put the bell on, share this video, and leave a comment in the comment sections below. And as for my social medias, I'm literally freaking everywhere! I'm on most video platforms, social medias, forums, and support sites. It's best to pause the video and see where I am. Literally all this is down in the description box below. So if you want to go and check those out, please do. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out.